The next option we'll look at is a very important one. It governs the output, the JavaScript version that TypeScript compiles into, what it spits out. So it's called target. And for me, the default is ES5. The docs actually say it defaults to ES3. That's not my experience, but anyway. The idea here is that whatever we put as the value, ES5 or ES 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and so on, ES next, all the different options are right here. These are all the allowed options. TypeScript will then compile the TypeScript into ES5 code or ES 2022 code. And I had us write a function that was an arrow function, right, inside of this farmstands file. Arrow functions are not available until ES 2015, aka ES6. We don't have access to that in our output. Instead, it's just a regular old function with the function keyword, no arrow function syntax, and that's because target is set to ES5. But if I change that to ES6/2015, I just hate this whole naming change. It's been very confusing for a lot of my students and for me. But anyway, ES6 or ES 2015, either one, right? They refer to the same version, if you will. They both allow arrow functions. So let's just go to ES 2015 here and then recompile my code, TSC. And now our farmstand.js file has an arrow function. And it's also using the const keyword, right? Before it had var in there. So if you want to change that output language, which you probably, depending on what you're working on and who you're working on it with and the company you're at and all this, there's a lot of situations where you will change target. You may not want it to be some super old version of JavaScript. You might want something more cutting edge. So we can use those cutting edge features in TypeScript. We've seen that, right? Not that an arrow function is cutting edge, but I'm using that. And then I can compile that down to ES5 that doesn't know about arrow functions. And we end up with our plain old boring function. Okay, and that's it for the target setting.